Hey everyone, this is just a video I'm doing to talk about what I'm expecting from the Highlander reboot. No, sorry, not what I'm expecting, what I would want from the Highlander reboot. Now, some stuff that I'm gonna say hasn't been addressed yet. Like the people making the film haven't said if it's gonna be like that or not, and other stuff I already know it's not gonna go my way. It's already or stuff they already confirmed either that they're gonna do it the way that I would like them to do it, or vice versa, that they're gonna do something that rather they don't do. But I'm just gonna this is just my personal list of what I would have liked and what I would like from this upcoming movie, even though some of it I already know it's not gonna be like that, or it's already confirmed it is gonna be like that. So the first thing, I would like them to keep the Queen soundtrack, like especially Princess of the Universe. Like that is to me, they have to keep it. The Of course they can have their own music themes and scores and all that, but if Princes of the Universe is not like the song that blasts at the beginning of the movie, that's a fail for me right away. Keep Queen. um Now this one, I know I'm not getting my way regarding this one already, but I would really want that Henry Cavill's Highlander is not Connor MacLeod. Now, to be clear, I do want it to be a reboot. I like the previous Highlander continuities are all a mess. No matter which version you take, it's all a mess, except for the first movie that was self-contained, and then everything else that spun off that movie contradicted the movie in some way. So you kind of had to be like, you take some parts of the movie, but not all of it. So, however, one thing that I noticed is that there's been many MacLeods and many Highlanders through different interpretations. So you have the Connor MacLeod, played by Christopher Lambert. You have Duncan MacLeod, played by Adrian Paul from the mainly the Highlander TV series, but a few movies at the end. In the anime, I think it was called Search for Vengeance, Quest for Vengeance. Anyway, the Highlander anime. I think it was Quentin MacLeod. Was it? And then, or was Quentin the one from the Highlander animated series? Anyway, so my point is that every time there's been an actor or voice actor playing the Highlander, every time it's a different one, they always make it a different MacLeod, different Highlander. And for some reason, I would have liked them to keep the tradition going. Where Henry Cavill is MacLeod, he's a Highlander, but he's not Connor MacLeod. He would be a new MacLeod. Now in this reboot, he's the only MacLeod, he's the only Highlander. But just for the sake of us fans, like like to me, there's only one Connor MacLeod, and it's Christopher Lambert. And I get that for James Bond, for example, you do have to keep changing the actors. It is James Bond, but this movie is the Highlander, and traditionally it's MacLeod, so you keep that. But I would have really liked it if Henry Cavill had his own MacLeod, his own Highlander, kind of like Adrian Paul was really happy when they gave him Duncan MacLeod, so he can be his own, version of the Highlander. As a quick side note, I always thought it was funny in. I guess they addressed it a little bit in the pilot, but not really. Like in the Highlander TV series, since Connor and Duncan they coexist and they're both called the Highlander, I kind of find it funny in the TV series when people go like the Highlander, they all go like assume it's Duncan, but in reality, all of the immortals who know about the Highlander would go, which Highlander? So it wouldn't be the Highlander, it would be a Highlander. Anyway, just random thought. But yeah, I just thought it would be nice if Henry Cavill can make his own Highlander. No, he will, but the fact that he's going to be named Connor, especially because Henry Cavill looks nothing like Christopher Lambert. Like there's no way I can kind of like imagine it's going to be the same character. I don't think they'll dress that character the same. And um, Christopher Lambert was someone who was a very interesting choice. Like he has an interesting look to him that was not like typical Hollywood face. He was Henry Cavill, and I'm not like I'm not disparaging either actor. Like it's not I'm not saying something negative, but I just mean Henry Cavill is the type of Hollywood face. The typical Hollywood looking person, and just right there, the fact that they're both Connor feels weird to me. Um, yeah, I would have liked for Henry Cavill to not be Connor McLeod, but they've confirmed it's going to be Connor. Okay, very well. Now this next one, I've never collected any Highlander prop swords or anything like that. But for the fans of, I know some people do, and some people collect the Connor McLeod katana and the Duncan McLeod katana, and they don't have the same handle. They're both like katanas with white handles shaped like dragons, but they're different. And now I'm starting to watch a TV series for the very first time recently, and so far I haven't come to the episode that explains how Duncan got this sword, but I think that the sword looking similar is a coincidence. I might be wrong. I'll see when the episode comes, but it's kind of funny if Duncan's sword is completely unrelated to Connor. How come they have such a similar look, right? Other than real world decisions to make them similar. But nevertheless, and I might be wrong on this. You can leave a comment if you know. I haven't come across that episode yet, but I know some people collect those swords, and if they're gonna keep Connor McLeod, Henry Cavill is gonna play Connor. I hope for those collectors that they keep the same sword then. That because of course it's gonna be a katana, right? First of all, like the Highlander has to use the katana, even though it makes no sense for Highlander. That's a tradition, so they should keep it going. And unless maybe okay, so there's two ways it can go. Either they actually give Henry Cavill, especially because Henry Cavill is a much bigger guy than Christopher Lambert was, so visually it might look cool if Henry Cavill has like a big Highlander sword, you know. So they could go differently. Instead of a katana, they give him a proper Highlander sword, if you will. But if they give him like the a katana, at first in that case it has to be the Highlander katana, right? Like a handle that's a white dragon. And then I hope they keep it the exact same design as the one Christopher Lambert had. Why? I'm just thinking of it's not my own, you know, it's not for myself. I have no, you know, what do you say? No horse in this game, but in this race, sorry. But I imagine it's gonna be a pain when collectors go like Connor McLeod's katana, and then they get two different results. So they have to start saying Connor McLeod 1986 was it? Connor McLeod 2020 whatever the year it is when it comes out 23 I think I don't know. You know it's gonna be kind of like I imagine for collectors now they have to start like putting the year. So I think it would be nice if in that case since it's gonna be Connor McLeod they just keep it exactly the same for the tradition of this is what Connor McLeod's katana looks like. But I have no horse in this race because I don't think I would, you know, I don't think I'll ever be stupid rich enough to start buying prop swords from movies. So that's that. Um, well, I mean, you know, you don't need to be stupid rich, but th- for me to buy that, I would have to have a lot of money to waste because my passion doesn't run that deep. That's what I meant. Now, this one, it's already confirmed that they will do it like that, of course. They're going to keep sequels in mind. So that implies at the end of that first movie, Connor McLeod is not going to be the last immortal like in the original movie. So then they don't have to like start doing weird stuff like Highlander 2 and you know like they don't have to like or just like the Highlander TV series which is like oh the first Highlander movie happened but Connor was not the last immortal. So when you watch a movie, if you want it to fit with TV series, you have to do your own mental retcons. So in that sense, it's good that they keep sequels in mind because you know what? It's a franchise that can tell a lot of stories, and they should just do like the TV series or just keep it going. Like we know eventually it'll have to be the last one, but if they ever get to the Conor McLeod being the last one, then I think it's like they do that and then they reboot again. You know, I think that's how they should do it. Now, this is going to be controversial with a lot of Highlander fans, especially considering what happened with Highlander 2, but I think in this new version they should explain Immortals. And I know it went really bad in Highlander 2. You know, in Highlander the Swords, when they tried to add to the mythology of the Immortals in a way, like it went really bad again. But that's kind of my point. I think that given enough time, people are not going to be able, creators are not going to be able to help themselves. They will want to mess with that. And in that case, you should have a plan rather than just, you know, rather than not address it and then have people eventually add stuff to it. Like, this is a new version, this is a reboot, it stands on its own. make it its own thing. Explain immortals, have a game plan. You don't have to explain in the first movie. You can drop hints in the first movie, but if there's a game plan at least, then it can all fit together. Like one of the reasons why Highlander 2's explanation for immortals was so rejected was that it clearly wasn't the plan when they were making the first movie. Like so this time around have a game plan going, and don't make it the same as Highlander 2 because that didn't work well. Um, but yeah, I think there's something interesting that could be done there. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to make suggestions or anything like that, but I really think that they could go there. It could be something new for a franchise, and then this time around, it would feel like it all gels together, and better to have one single vision going, like doing this rather than trying to fit like a cube into a round hole. And uh, that's not the expression. Anyway, okay. No, this is call it a nitpick, but in the first Highlander movie, like the Kurgan gets shut down by like this assault rifle or whatever it was. I'm not a gun nut. And he gets up right away and stabs the guy who shot him. Like immortals cannot be stopped unless you cut their head off. Um, and I had a feeling that the Kurgan's like wound in the throat, it's only because it was almost a decapitation that it affected him during the battle. I got a feeling that any wound that was not a decapitation like could affect them but not kill them. Like Ramirez gets like stuck with a Kurgan sword through him and he's still not dead. He's suffering, he can't move well, he's defeated, but it wasn't like he dies there and then comes back later. um so I don't like then in the Highlander TV series continuity, even in the sequels, like Highlander like 3 especially bothered me. I don't like when immortals are like killed by normal means and they just come back because their head wasn't cut off, because then it's like anyone can just shoot them and cut off their head afterwards if they know. You don't need to be a badass immortal sword fighter. You just need to have like a gun and you're like, hey, immortal dude, bang, and then you cut off their head while they're like temporarily dead, and then now they're dead for good. So in Highlander 3, something that really bugged me is that Connor McLeod gets like randomly mugged and shut down by some random muggers, and he then wakes up in the hospital. Like to me, it should be like in Highlander 1, like those random muggers, like they would have shot Connor and Connor would still be standing because that wouldn't be enough. I could actually accept, and maybe a bit sacrilegious, I can actually accept in Highlander 2 when Ramirez and Connor are in the car because like they get shot with so many bullets, you get the impression that the bodies were at this point like almost mush. Like that at this point I could be like, yeah, maybe that'll take a while, almost or an explosion really harming the body, but just getting shot or getting stabbed by a single sword or stuff like that. Like I don't like when immortals like fall dead and wake up after. I don't. I do think it downplays their power. Like because it really they should not be stopped by normal people who just know about their vulnerability. And Highlander 3 is so lame. Like that moment, I mean, not the whole movie, but that moment is so lame. Like he just random muggers take down the one who wins the prize. Like it doesn't feel right. So yeah, I want the immortals to be like more like unstoppable machines. I want them more like Wolverine or Deadpool type of unstoppable. Unless their head is cut off. Unless they go the route of a new immortal will temporarily die and come back, but as they get quickenings, as they gain in power, then they become more like unstoppable unless it's the completely ahead. Like they don't stop for nothing, for anything. And then it will also give more importance to the quickenings because, except for again Highlander 3, actually, those quickenings have always been kind of vague in how much they make an immortal more powerful. It's always been a bit vague, like um, and in Endgame they make a big deal out of it, and they explain why Jacob Kell is like he has this many mortal kills. That's why he's so much better. But again, it's like to me that's a bit iffy because it's kind of like I hope they define it a bit better because at the same time, then the oldest immortals would just have such a head start on the new ones that they could never catch up, in my opinion. So that would be something else. So if they can just define, maybe they get more powerful in their powers, but skill with a sword, stuff like that, is still like whatever one makes. So a new immortal could be really good with a sword, might die temporarily from a not getting your head cut, so they might be at a disadvantage against older immortals, but still define a bit what it means, for them to be more powerful or less or whatever. Um, yeah, that's it. Okay, that was all. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.